Hey guys, Thomas is Analytical. Thanks for joining us for our very first Tech Thursday video. I just want to put out a quick disclaimer. I am by no means a content creator. I'm very awkward, as you're going to tell very quickly here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this and get into the fun technical stuff, shall we? All right, so first I want to start with the affordability of a home server. I know when you think of a server, you're thinking of some $5,000-$10,000 piece of equipment that is loud and is going to cost you hundreds of dollars to run every month, but that's not what we need. What we really need is just an old home PC that we're going to leave on all the time, and that's basically what all the differences of a server and a computer. One's on 24/7. So here I'm going to show you an example on eBay. This is a Dell Optiplex. These are like the creme de la creme to find out there for, inexpensive gaming rigs or even home servers. So this Dell Optiplex 5040, it comes with a Intel Core i5 6500. And the reason that I wanted to show you this one specifically is if you're going to build a home server, especially one that's going to be doing video streaming like Plex, MB, or Jellyfin, you're going to want this 6th generation. The reason for that is that those have a built-in GPU or graphics processing unit, which will help transcode your video to the different types of players out there. So like iPhone is going to be different than your web browser or your smart TV, and that GPU is going to change the format of the video while it's being sent to the user. That way, you can play everything. But if you don't have that GPU in the CPU, what'll happen is it'll just max out your CPU and the rest of your server will become unusable. So that's the biggest reason that you want to go for that. I would suggest going a little bit newer, but this is a great starting point if you wanted to just play around with it and see if you have a good use for a home server. As this is only $80 and comes with everything you need to basically start a basic home server. You would need to upgrade this if you were to say, have a streaming service. You'd need to get more hard drives for storage, things like that. But your CPU would be just fine. That would last you years. The only thing I would suggest upgrading with this right off the bat, if you're going to run more than one server, is just put another 8GB stick of RAM into this, and you can run 2 or 3 servers at a time, be just fine. Plex, Jellyfin, stuff like that, or any video kind of streaming, they don't really use a whole lot of RAM. Actually, a lot of servers don't, unless you have a lot of people connecting at the same time. So you might even be able to get away with 8GB, but I definitely suggest going out and buying another couple terabytes of hard drives for storage. So with that, now let's go into what Proxmox is and what it looks like. So here's Proxmox. And before I go too much further, I want to talk about what Proxmox is. Proxmox is an Ubuntu-based operating system that uses containerization and virtual machines to have multiple servers on one server or computer. And how this works is the base operating system is Ubuntu with this nice GUI and the commands over top of it. And then from there, you get what's your containers and your virtual machines. So first, let's start with a virtual machine. If you don't know what that is, what happens is, let's say you have your Windows machine here and you want another computer, but you don't want to go buy another computer. What you can do is you can make a virtual machine and you can run 2 computers off of the same hardware at once. The problem with VMs is they are very resource intensive, usually because they have to have a GUI or graphical user interface. If you don't know what that is, that's kind of what you click around on and that's how you interact with your operating system. And I mean, there's a lot of other reasons why they're resource intensive, but that's mainly the big one. And now what containerization is, it's the same concept, but you're removing the graphical user interface and you're actually linking that container into the host operating system. That way you don't have to have 2 operating systems running on top of each other. All you need is the higher level files and formats to run your container. And they're totally secure. No container can touch the host operating system files or any other server files that are running on Proxmox. Containerization is the most secure way to run servers now. It used to be virtual machines, but as we are quickly finding out, that's no longer the case. As in just the last month, I think there's been 3 or 4 major hacks into virtual machine programs like Hypervisor or VMware, things like that. And then, actually, no, not and then. From here, we're going to talk about Plex and what Plex is. So Plex is a self-hosted, and when I say self-hosted, meaning you own the equipment and it's your data, all that kind of stuff. It's a self-hosted video streaming service. It's completely free. There is one package. It's called like the Plex Pass or something like that. It's $120 for a lifetime, and it allows you to do that transcoding that I was talking about earlier. If you don't want to do that, you can always use Jellyfin or MB. I believe those come for free, or the transcoding comes for free. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that. But anywho, so Plex is its own self-hosted video streaming services, and that way you can get rid of Apple TV and Netflix and stuff like that. It's really cool, and you won't believe just how how should I put this? How easy it is to use, I guess. So here's my Plex server, and don't mind any of this. Just a quick disclaimer here as well. This is all fully legal. None of this has been pirated. And I know some of you might be like, well, wait a second. There's Netflix only and Apple TV only shows on here. But that's another cool thing about Plex. While my dream was to totally get rid of Netflix and stuff like that, I don't think it'll ever happen unless you want to go the illegal route, which I do not condone. But the reason that I have these is because you can actually link Plex with your streaming services now. So it's a one-stop shop for all of your entertainment. You don't have to go, oh, I wonder what's on Hulu today. I can just hop on over to here, and I believe I have it set up on here. Oh, another quick thing. It's got live TV, which, I hate live TV, but if you're into it, all you need is the antenna for your computer, and you got TV. Anywho, I don't have it set up here on my browser, but there is a way to link it, and we can go into more detail in future videos about that. But I just want to give you a quick overview of all this and how cool it is. If you were to slap a Netflix logo or some branding onto this, I guarantee you people wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Because when you click here, well, they would be able to tell the difference because Plex is a lot more user-friendly and actually gives you information you care about. So when you click on a movie here, it's going to give you all the information you could ever want about a movie. So you have the title, the year it came out, length, its ratings on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, or Popcorn, I believe. What one's this? Oh, no, that's Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, I guess they're both Rotten Tomatoes. I don't really ever look at movie reviews. Who it's directed by, and then you have your versions and video. So another cool thing about Plex is, let's say you don't have that transcoder in your GPU or in your CPU. What you can do is you can click on a movie and you can transcode it prior to people watching it. So that way, let's say you have this 4K HDR movie, but no one has 4K HDR TVs or tablets or anything like that. So what you can do is you can transcode it down to 1080p or 720p, and then that way, when they go to click the video, Plex will automatically select the best version for that player, and it'll play that back and not have to actually transcode on the go. So that is also another option if you can't seem to find a 6th generation CPU, or you just don't have the money for it, or for whatever reason you still have a computer from over 12 years ago, I believe. Yeah, something like that. Then there you are. But to continue with Plex, you get your whole cast here, reviews, and then the awesome part about this is these trailers are grabbed from online. Oh, actually, all of this is grabbed from online. I didn't have to fill any of this out. This is grabbed, it's what's called metadata, and this is grabbed from IMDb and different TV or movie websites, and it'll automatically fill it out, and then it'll show you the trailers for it. So let's say, you have a Plex server, or your friend has a Plex server and you're borrowing it for a little bit, or you're streaming off of it, and you're like, oh, this looks like a cool movie. And, you don't want to actually just dig into it, so you can just watch the trailer. I know it sounds super simple, but with nerds like me, when you can do this stuff without having to rely on big tech, it just makes us extra happy. I don't know what it is. But anywho, from here, you can also see like related movies, things like that. And then let's see, we've got TV shows, all different TV shows. And then you can also put your photos up on here. Your timelines when they came out, things like that. So that's enough about Plex right now. Let's go into the last server that I'm going to talk about today. And this is going to be our NAS. This is what's called a NAS, or a network attached storage device. And let me minimize this. It's a fancy word for storage that's not in your computer. Basically what you can do is, and I'm sure most of you have seen this at your works. When you map a network drive, that's a network attached storage drive. So the benefit of having these at your house are backups. Like, unless you have a lot of files and stuff, or you're using your home computer or your work computer a lot at home, really people won't need a whole lot of file storage other than, redundancy and things like that. But what I like to do is I like to back up my computer every week or so to the NAS. So that way, when inevitably my computer decides to die on me, all I can do is just go back to my backup and restore from the last backup, as I over-explain how to do a backup. But there's not too much I can show you with the NAS. The reason being is it's a security risk for me to show you guys too much of what goes into it on mine without starting up a new one and kind of going step by step with you guys. And that's kind of what I want to do next week and the weeks prior. I want to know what you guys want to know about servers, whether it be you want a step by step, or we can do live stream of questions and answers, anything. Please go ahead and comment on this video. Send me emails, or just let me know. Let me know what you want to know about home servers and what I can do to help you to get away from big tech and to self-host all of your own services. All right, guys, so that's it for today. Just wanted to do a short, brief overview of my home server and to kind of show you guys what you can do with a home server, and to show you how cheap it really can be. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go for tonight, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. Thanks.